What is good, everyone? It's great to be back on the Mayo Media Network, and it's been a minute since I've been on here, really ever since the NHL season wrapped up, but was really excited when Pat reached out to me and asked if I wanted to talk some NFL this year as well, and that's what we're going to be doing here today, talking some NFL, some season-long prize pick player props that I like, as well as a couple season-long bets that I like at the sportsbook. But before we dive into that, make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button to the Mayo Media Network channel. They got content coming out all week long, tackling multiple different sports. And now that the NFL is back, they're going to have content rolling out for that on a daily basis. And for you podcast people out there, head on over to the Apple Pods. You can find all of the content there. But like, subscribe, and let's dive into it. All right, so for starters here, we're going to dive into the player props on PrizePicks. But before we head on to PrizePicks.com here, I want to mention the contest that the Mayo Media Network is currently running. First and foremost, if you haven't signed up yet, make sure you use code MMN for up to a $100 match deposit. Now, you don't have to put $100 in. You want to put $50 in, they'll match that. $20, they'll match that. You want to put $5 in, they'll match your $5. Just make sure you use code MMN upon sign up or click on the link in the description below. So what this contest is called here is the 7-11 challenge. And here's how that's going to work. Each week, participants are going to make one 5-pick flex entry only for the NFL. Whoever gets the most picks right at the end of the week, you're going to win a prize. Whoever gets the most picks right by the end of the season is going to win a grand prize of $3,000. And here's how you play. I already mentioned you got to make a 5-pick flex entry for the NFL. Now, this can only be played on the Thursday and Sunday night games. Monday has been excluded. But again, put in your entry for 7-11, and you're automatically going to get entered into this contest. Again, make sure you use code MMN for up to a $100 match deposit and enter into this contest. But all you need to do is make a simple bet of $7.11, and PrizePicks algorithm will actually pick that up and include you in the contest. And Pat and his team have actually made a leaderboard for this as well, and they're going to update that leaderboard every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, you only get one entry per week, and look, you're going to want to play weeks 1 through week 18 in order to qualify for all these prizes that I'm going to talk about here. Yes, there are 18 weeks this year. Let's not forget about that. But let me just run through some of the prizes here. First and foremost, there's going to be a weekly prize bonus of $50 for anyone that hits 5 of 5 on that flex entry, on top of the 10x that you're going to win for going 5 for 5. Now, for those who want to play weeks 1 through week 18, you can finish towards the top and win some pretty decent money. Again, first place is going to get $3,000. Second place gets $1,500. Third place is $1,000. Fourth, $500. And fifth place, $250. Now, you might be going, well, what if I don't do all that well in this contest? Don't worry. We got you covered there too. If you finish dead last, you're going to win $100. If you finish right in the middle of the pack, you're going to win $100 as well. Again, caveat there, make sure you're playing weeks 1 through week 18. You can't just play week 1, go 0 for 5, and go, hey, look, I'm dead last in this contest here. I'm going to sit there and win $100. No, you got to play all 18 weeks, but look, you want to be going for that top prize anyway of $3,000. So again, if you're going to be signing up, make sure you use code MMN or click on the link in the description below. And again, just make your bet week in and week out for $7.11. PrizePicks will pick that up with the algorithm and enter you in to the 7-11 challenge. All right, let's hop on over to PrizePicks.com now. So I have 5 different player props here that I like on PrizePicks. I really like where the lines are at for each one of these. And keep in mind, these are season-long props here. So while waiting these out aren't necessarily fun, I really do think there's some good money on each one of these lines. So the first player prop that I like here is going to be Ezekiel Elliott over 1,100.5 rushing yards. I'm going to take this line all day. I think this is far too low for a guy that's averaged 1,276 yards per year since entering the league back in 2016. So he has topped this number here in 3 different seasons. He did, however, fall short in 2 other seasons, but a pretty good explanation as to why he did fall short. He did fall short back in 2017 by 117.5 rushing yards, but he also missed 6 games that year as well. Pretty safe to say if he gets 1 or 2 more games in that season, he's going to top this number here once again. And then last season, he missed this number by 121.5 rushing yards. Now, he did miss 1 game last year, and he very well could have topped this number in that game that he missed. However, this is more so due to the Cowboys just really being beat up all season long. Not only did Dak Prescott get injured in week 5, that offensive line was pretty much banged up all season long. One of the best offensive lines in football when healthy, and we've really seen Zeke thrive there in previous years. I definitely think he can do that again here this year. Now, obviously, we can't predict injuries. That's one thing that with these numbers, we really don't know what's going to happen. Zeke could get injured in week 1, and he's clearly going to fall short of this number of 1,100 yards. But I don't like to approach it like that. I'm going to approach it as everybody's going to be healthy, unless there's someone out there that really has some injury concerns or a history of being injured every year. And we're not seeing that with Zeke, and for that matter, we haven't seen it with Dak or the offensive line for the Cowboys. So I really like this number here for Zeke. Think he hits the over, and I'm looking at 2 different sites right now in terms of projections, Number Fire and Run the Sims. Both of these sites here have Zeke projected to rush close to 1,300 rushing yards, a 200-yard difference. Again, the line is far too low in my opinion. I'm going to smash this all the time. Now, the next pick that I like for this upcoming season is actually right next to Zeke there. Aaron Jones, I'm going to take the over at 1,050.5 rushing yards for him. This is a guy who's been able to hit the over at this number in each of his past 2 seasons, even after missing 2 games last year due to injury. And now we don't have to worry about a guy named Jamal Williams in green and gold this year, as he's now playing with Detroit Lions, a guy who's vultured touches from Jones really over the past few seasons. And yes, they still have A.J. Dillon there, who's going to see his fair share of work this year, but I certainly wouldn't expect it to be anything more than what Jamal Williams saw in this offense. In fact, I'd expect it to be less, considering this is only year 2 for A.J. Dillon. He really didn't play a whole lot last year. I would suspect that LaFleur is going to slowly work him into this offense, getting him more touches as the season goes along. But Jones is still going to see plenty of touches, plenty of targets for that matter. A great fantasy option this year in the first round. We're not talking about that here, though, today. I just think this number's a bit too low. And let's not forget, all these guys are getting 1 extra game this year as well to hit the over on these props. Jones has been able to hit the over here in each of the past 2 seasons. Now you give him an extra game to hit the over at 1,000 yards, essentially. This offense is far too lethal. Jones is far too good. I'll take the over here all day. And again, looking at both these websites here, Number Fire and Run the Sims, both of these websites here have Jones projected for close to 1,200 rushing yards. Another pretty significant difference. All right, so those were the 2 rushing props that I like for this upcoming season. Now we're going to move on over to the passing yards here. I got one pick for you guys on this front as well. Jared Goff under 4,000 passing yards. Now look, I know the under isn't fun, but this line does make sense to me here. In the 4 seasons that Goff has played in the NFL, he's only been able to hit the over in 2 of those seasons, playing on a much better team, the LA Rams. Now he's playing on arguably one of the worst teams in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. He went from throwing to guys like Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, to Tyrell Williams and TJ Hawkinson. It's a pretty significant downgrade in my opinion. Now, the one bright side here for Goff is that offensive line has improved, and that's something to look forward to if you are a Detroit Lions fan. But outside of that, there's just not a lot of talent surrounding Goff on this offense. Again, Tyrell Williams is listed as the number 1 wide receiver on this depth chart, and we're hearing injury concerns already with DeAndre Swift in the backfield. I'm just not banking on this offense or this Detroit Lions team in general this year. I think they're going to be really bad, so I'm going to take the under here at 4,000 passing yards for Jared Goff. All right, now we're moving on over here to some receiving props. Going to kick it off here with a receiving yards prop first. I like the over for Keenan Allen here at 1,025.5 yards. I just think this number is too low for him as well. It's a guy who's been able to hit the over here in 3 of his past 4 seasons, and the only season in his past 4 where he didn't get there was just last year. He only missed that number by 34 receiving yards, and he actually missed 2 games due to injury last year as well. Pretty safe to say if he would have played just even one of those games, he would have hit the over once again, going 4 for 4 in each of his past 4 seasons. Now, Keenan Allen is also targeted like a madman. This is a guy who's seen at least 136 targets per year over the past 4 seasons. I'm kind of going with the past 4 seasons here, but Keenan Allen has been balling out. He saw 147 targets last year with Justin Herbert. And we've all heard the Chargers openly state they want to push the ball down the field this year as well, with Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and even guys like Guyton who can use their speed to open up the field. I'm really excited to see how Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert build on their chemistry here in year 2. Now again, I'm looking at Numberfire here, I'm looking at Run the Sims. Both of these websites have Keenan Allen projected to close to 1,200 receiving yards this year. Again, close to a 200-yard difference from what we're currently seeing on PrizePicks. And I'll reiterate it one more time here. Let's not forget, these guys get one extra game in the regular season as well, which should make things a little bit easier when trying to hit the over on these props. And then to wrap up my 5th and final prize pick for this upcoming season, we're going to go with receiving touchdowns. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom to my man here, Terry McLaurin. Just think 5.5 is too low for this guy. I know it's only his 3rd season in the NFL, but he's probably playing with his best quarterback to date. Yes, that is Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you're probably going, that's his best quarterback to date. And look, it is. He had Dwayne Haskins prior to that. Pretty significant upgrade in my opinion. And in his first 2 seasons, we saw McLaurin score 7 and 4 touchdowns. He did that while missing 2 games in year 1 and 1 game last year. And again, Dwayne Haskins was throwing him the football. Now we get 1 full extra game this year with McLaurin, playing with a much better quarterback who, mind you, is not afraid to push the ball downfield or take chances on his receivers. And the Washington football team here playing arguably the worst division in the league. In fact, it was significantly the worst division in 2020, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same thing here this year with the Washington football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, and the Dallas Cowboys. Not one of those teams really made significant improvements to their team this year. You could say, yeah, the Giants tried to, but I'm not sold on them. Yes, getting Dak back and that offensive line is certainly going to boost the offense for the Cowboys, but that defense is still bad. And the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm just not sold on them either. So the Washington football team should be the best team in this division, and McLaurin should have his way with those secondaries. Again, looking at Numberfire here and Run the Sims, both of those websites have McLaurin projected for at least 6.4 touchdowns this upcoming season. I'm going to take the over here on PrizePicks at 5.5. All right, so that is going to wrap up the 5 prize picks that I like for this upcoming season. Let's just go ahead and put the over on McLaurin, and you can see what the payouts are here. If we get 5 correct, you get 10x. You go 4 correct, you get 2x. And if you get 3 out of 5, you're still going to get paid out there as well. You put $100 in, go 5 for 5, you're going to get $1,000 in return. Again, if you haven't signed up yet, you want to do so, make sure you use code MMN for up to a $100 match deposit and enter into the 7-Eleven challenge, or just click on the link in the description below. We got that for you there as well. Now, I'm not done yet. Got 2 more picks that I want to talk about here, some season-long bets over on the DraftKings Sportsbook. So let's head on over to that. So over on the DraftKings Sportsbook page here, now I went with DraftKings because it's very popular. A lot of people playing DraftKings out there, whether it's DFS or making sports bets. But if you're sports betting, as you all know, we need to be checking multiple different sports books for the best lines. Again, I went with DraftKings because it's very popular. But with that being said, I got 2 season-long awards that I want to discuss with you here today. First being the regular season MVP. Now, I'm sure a lot of you aren't going to love this pick here, but hear me out. I'm going to go with Tom Brady here at plus 1,400. For starters, he's basically got the same team coming back this year that he played with last year. Mind you, a team that won the Super Bowl. And being on a winning team seems to be a pretty big factor when it comes to MVP voting. And the Bucs are primed to be one of the best teams in the NFL once again this year. On top of that, Brady's coming off a season where he threw for 40 touchdown passes last year, the second most of any season in his career, and that's saying something. He also added 4,600 passing yards on top of that. Now he's getting all of his weapons back. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Antonio Brown for a full season. I don't want to say that Antonio Brown is going to be the number 1 wide receiver in this offense, but I wouldn't be shocked if he leads the teams in touchdowns or receiving yards this year. Hell, even receptions. Brady absolutely loves this guy. And look, betting on a 44-year-old quarterback to win the MVP is relatively unheard of. There have barely been any 44-year-old quarterbacks who make it this far, period. However, as of August 30th, just this past Monday, Tom Brady is receiving 1/3 of the bets being made at BetMGM to win this year's league MVP. The next closest is Patrick Mahomes, who's roughly receiving 15% of those bets. Now, we all know that MVP voting can certainly be skewed, but I truly believe that Tom Brady has everything working for him this year to win the award. He's only won the award 3 times over the course of his career, where someone like Peyton Manning won it 5 different times. Now, I'm not insinuating they're just going to hand the award over to Tom Brady. However, if he can throw close to 40-plus touchdowns again and 4,600 passing yards, it's hard to argue that he won't be in the mix to win this year's MVP award. And then to wrap up today's video, I got one more season-long bet that I want to make here. It might be one of my favorite bets to make all year long. It's going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I'm going to go with Kwity Paye here. Now, Kwity Paye was arguably the best pass rusher or edge player coming into this draft, and this really isn't a class with a whole lot of top-end talent at the defensive position. You can see here he does have the 4th best odds, but I still really like him at $1,200. Now, why do defensive players end up ultimately winning Defensive Rookie of the Year? Well, for linebackers, it's racking up tackles, but if you're not on a good defense, it's really going to hurt your value. Micah Parsons is going to be awesome for the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm just not overly convinced that the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be very good this year, which should hurt his value. For secondary players, it's breaking up passes and getting a lot of picks. Same thing though, if you're allowing a lot of points as a defense, it's really going to hurt your value. But for edge rushers or defensive linemen, they have the easiest chance to really be a game changer and change the defense overall by creating pressure and getting sacks. I really think that Kwity Paye can do that this year with the Indianapolis Colts. In my opinion, Kwity's in a great spot right now as an edge rusher. He's playing next to a very, very underrated player in DeForest Buckner, a very special player who's probably going to force a lot of double teams, especially on 3rd downs. He just ruins offensive lines, and he's going to give Kwity Paye here a lot of one-on-one looks with the outside tackle. If Kwity Paye can win that battle, he should be able to rack up a lot of sacks this year and might even be able to get to double-digit sacks, which would give him a great shot at winning this award. And on top of all of that, we've seen 5 of the past 10 Rookie of the Year awards go to defensive linemen or edge rushers. So again, I understand he's the 4th best odds here to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but at plus $1,200, that's one of my favorite bets heading into the 2021 NFL season. But all right, everyone, that is going to wrap up the video here for today. So good to be back on the Mayo Media Network. It's been a minute, but really excited for this upcoming NFL season. Again, if you haven't signed up for PrizePicks yet, make sure you're using code MMN upon sign up when doing so, or just click on the link in the description below. You get up to a $100 match deposit when signing up, and you get to compete in the 7-11 challenge. Many more videos to come from me this upcoming season, folks. NFL, NHL, all sorts of stuff that I want to be talking about. If you haven't, head on over to my page as well at GriffDogDFS. Got some content there for you as well. But really looking forward to the season, everyone. Really looking forward to interacting with all of you. Let's have a great day. Let's have a great NFL season. If you haven't drafted yet, best of luck to you there as well. I'm out of here.